You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Remember the fallen host, Sergeant Dave. After the survival instincts of a 10-ton transport vehicle rollover accident in the Parwan province of Afghanistan in 2004, he emerges and returns to the state.
I'm Sergeant Dave with the Remember the Fallen show's content. We will be drilling down on topics that affect our veterans. The cataclysm of Agent Orange, veteran suicide, the conundrum of Kill 22, and Judicial Watch's insight on Homeland Security, and much, much more for the intriguing mind.
Navigates through the bureaucracy from returning veterans from the global war on terrorism. He gains a new perspective and a renaissance that he'll share with you. A compelling fever of enthusiasm to all patriots across the windswept fields of America the Beautiful.
Okay, here we are live. Okay, here we are live at LZ, Seminole County, with Remember the Fallen show with Sergeant Dave, and I have a host today from Team Red, White, and Blue, Sherrie Labar, all the way from Seminole County as well, and I want to introduce Sherrie to all our audience out there. Just incredible, patriotic woman that's in the lead, in the front of patriotism in our community. And without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Sherrie Labar. How you doing this morning, Sherrie?
Great, Dave. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing fine that I finally have you on the show. I've been waiting about a year to get you on the show, right?
Yeah.
And I couldn't, one of the things that drew me to get you on the show was the amazing statistics that I saw out there of the women in military that were deployed after 9/11, 345,000 and growing. Isn't that an amazing statistic that I think that our community is not aware of? What do you think about that, Sherrie?
I think it's positively underrated as far as the amount of force that's out there provided by our women. I'm not a big fan of dividing the troops up in half. Most people know that I see everybody as a type that bleeds red and poops brown. I'll be honest with you, everybody's the same. I treat everybody the same, and I try not to get into those gender issues. You're either good at what you do or you aren't good at what you do. I don't want to be a Navy SEAL, but I was a great corpsman. So I really am blown away by the amount of women that have actually served since 9/11. And I appreciate every single one of them, but I also appreciate my men.
Okay, awesome. Now you know why I brought her on the show, right? She's hilarious. And also, I'd like to just tell the audience, I know a lot about what you've been doing, and I love to be in your company when we're at these organizations, at these events. Could you just tell a little bit about what you've been doing in the last, say, 3 years, and what you're looking forward to in the next 3 years with your Team Red, White, and Blue, and what do you do for them exactly? What is your logistically role for the Team Red, White, and Blue?
Team Red, White, and Blue was started 8 years ago by two guys that did a few tours, came back alive. They had lost very few of their men. They had West Point educations. They had healthy wives, healthy children, jobs, $750,000 education. And they came home and they said, "Why are we so sad?" So they went to the VA, and the VA said, "Here's your pills." And they went, "No, thank you." So they did what the Army does, and they threw some Snickers on. They went running. That night, the Eagle was born. Now, that's a condensed version of it. But in 7 years, we have 130,000 members. And the whole mission of Team Red, White, and Blue is to get you to move your butt off your couch. What we want to do is enrich the lives of America's veterans by connecting them to their community through physical and social activity. Basically, that means you want to walk your dog, you want to read a book, you want to have a cup of coffee. We will do anything. Indoor rock climbing, tri-camps, leadership roles. Doesn't cost you a dime to join, and we want everybody in there. Doesn't matter their campaign. And currently, I serve as a community outreach director, so I go to different Orlando Mayor's Veterans Advisory Council, Orange County Mayor's Veterans Advisory Council, liaison for the VA with different things that we have going on there. So basically, it's whatever anybody needs.
Okay, Sherrie, now that we got the intros out of the way, let's talk about some hot topics that are out there right now in the media, and a lot of people are talking about it. I'd like to ask you, the question here is, do you think the Me Too movement will transcend to women in the military and bring awareness where it is needed?
The Me Too movement is a awareness step in the right direction, but I never let myself believe that it is limited to just women. The DOD does a lot of research with this because they've had so many incidences of sexual abuse, and I believe that 70% of the victims that use the inpatient Tampa sexual assault unit are males. So let that sink in for a little bit. If 70% of the beds are used by males, either it's underreported or overreported on the female side. So let's just make sure it's that we keep it real and say 50-50. It doesn't matter with the sexual assaults. It is a power play. It happens to a lot of people, and it does affect how you actually perceive yourself. And I'm not going to be silly enough to believe that this doesn't affect some of the suicides that are happening every day. In 2016, there were 14,900 sexual abuses reported to the DOD. In 2015, they had 20,300. That's right off the DOD website. What you have to understand is that they believe that only 1/3 of the incidences are actually being reported. Now, there is a Catholic Reporter, which is a neutral paper, and they said there are over 200,000 sexual assaults each year. Now everybody has their own rendition of what a sexual assault is. So I try to keep it open-minded, and I try to stay there for everybody. And I believe that a lot of this is affecting our warriors that come home that are forced to watch, forced to be part of, forced to participate in, or their careers will be ended. So it's a very ugly subject, and the DOD is doing their absolute best to keep it low-key, but trying to address the problems.
Okay, for us layman audience out there, DOD would be Department of Defense. Okay, Sherrie? So, Sherrie has some good acronyms out there, so I'll keep abreast of things that might slip by us out there. We're watching a lot of this. People are losing their moral compass, as you stated earlier. And like some of these things that are going on, like, for instance, let's say Roseanne Barr. I mean, doing that ridiculous statement that she made on Twitter is just, how could she do that to her co-workers, her staff? And now they're out of 100 jobs for that great show that was supposed to be just a great success, and I was behind it all the way. So people just going to have to really take a good look at their moral compass before they open their mouth. I mean, they're ruining careers, and you're seeing it every single day. Okay, Sherrie, now more recently, more women today are running Fortune 500 companies more than ever before. Will there ever be a day where they will gain respect among their men peers in the military? What do you feel? What's your take on that?
Well, the Marine Corps is giving their highest command to a African-American female. I believe she starts 1 October. I have seen Rangers. I haven't seen SEALs yet, but I'm waiting for them to bust through the ceiling. And I've seen combat pilots. I mean, it's amazing. From when I was in the military, they didn't quite know what to do with us. They were putting us on ships, and they were giving us Marines to guard us, and there was 14 of us on a actual aircraft carrier, and they didn't quite know what to do with us. So I like where we've come from, and I like where we're going. I'm having a difficult time understanding how they're making accommodations, and I will give you one example of that. When I came out and transitioned to the actual county fire service, I was hired as the first female firefighter. Yeah. And it was an ugly transition. They got balloons sent to them. Congratulations, it's a girl. They didn't have a separate bathroom. The guys would go in and smoke cigars, fill up the entire bathroom with cigars, and then say, it's available for you. So then I'd have to blow the smoke out before I could take a shower. And it was just a raging hazing for another year. And it became so much more fun. It's a great beer story now. But man, when I was off a probationary period, game on. Gloves came off. It was awesome. So I like where we've come from. I like the fact that they're still fighting to get where they need to be. I know it's a pain in the butt. But the reality is everybody has to take their licks. Is it right? I'm going to say no. Does it happen? Yes, it does.
Yes. Now I see your callousness. All right. Now you said, I think we missed this. Your prior, what you did in the Navy was you were a corpsman. Okay.
Yes.
I think we missed that in the beginning. We got to tell a little more history about what you did for the military and how it's so profound to where you are at this stage in your life.
All right. So I went in the Navy, and I went in 1982. And I was a Navy hospital corpsman. So we had female corpsmen in with the WMs, which that were women Marines back then. That's what they were called, was WMs. And they didn't really let us in the field. There weren't any field corpsmen that were females. So things have transitioned. They didn't have us on carriers. They didn't have us on any destroyers. They just had us on support vehicles. When I made the transition to the civilian side, I became a firefighter and a paramedic. And again, it's a predominantly all-male field, still to this day. Leadership is the same way. And I actually got hurt, and my career ended after 39 years. And I decided to become a nurse. So what I do now is I am a end-of-life hospice nurse for veterans. So I feel like I'm completing something that I've never done before, because I get to hear really awesome stories about our greatest generation, our Korean War conflict, as well as our Vietnam guys, so that their stories never, ever go away.
Well, that preludes into the next question I have for you. But before that, I have a story that came up. A friend of mine, his mother passed, and his father was a World War II veteran. And what happened was, there was a 3.5 week delay to have her interned next to her husband, World War II veteran, in a national cemetery up in New Hampshire. So it actually took 3.5 weeks to put her in the ground next to her husband, because of the two wars that are coming together, combining for our lost, fallen soldiers of World War II veterans and Vietnam Agent Orange veterans. So the question I have next is basically, the widow warriors of Vietnam from Agent Orange have been neglected from our government, Congress, for too long with their DIC, Dependent Indemnity Compensation. Any ideas, Sherrie, on how you can assist these women out there that feel that they have been neglected from our government, our VA system, Congress? These women have some really dark days, and they need assistance. And any ideas that we can be someone they can lean on and help them and do the best. You know, the Facebook page I have is U.S. Wives and Widow Warriors of Agent Orange. Please visit that site. Ask to join. That's one thing that I can do, that I can assist. But seeing that you're in the field, you might have a better anecdote than I have on a Facebook page. So any ideas how we can assist these widow warriors, Sherrie?
Well, these women were warriors just marrying the men in the turbulent time that we had. So I have immense respect for them, and I unfortunately have to serve their their family members when they're dying in their end of life as a result of the Agent Orange. But these Agent Orange Women's Club and Widows Club has made tremendous strides to get their own rights. They will not stand down, and that is amazing. Their hard work has been so significant that the VA is expanding the presumptive diseases from exposure to Agent Orange. In 2018, we're expected to have 4 or 5 more diseases added to the already huge list that they have. The work that they have done has expanded the veteran coverage from Vietnam to 1975, and it also covers Korea and Thailand and the DMZ zone, and any chemical depot that's stateside that actually handled the actual Agent Orange, as well as our blue water sailors that had it on their ships, and any Air Force and Air Force reservists up to 1985 that actually flew on C-123s. So these women did this all by themselves with their own money, and it was long after their husbands had actually passed. It is on a benefits.va.gov, and you can actually find it on there, all the dates, all the times. They have an Agent Orange hotline, which I'm sure Dave has the number for. I have it listed if we ever need it. And then the Agent Orange Settlement Fund, which everybody always wants to talk about, was actually a private group claim that they actually did. It had nothing to do with the VA. I repeat, nothing to do with the VA. Those funds were actually settled. Each one of the people got $3,800 that was affected by the Agent Orange. That's it, $3,800. And the fund was actually closed in 94. I don't know of any other way that these women are going to get this done except kick through it, but there's a lot of doctors that are on board and looking for glioblastoma and stuff like that. So they have done an amazing job. And Dr. Ralph Erickson, he's an MD. He did 32 years United States Army. He is a pioneer in the treatment of our Agent Orange, and he writes articles constantly for the Army Times as well as the National Institute of Health, and he is helping these widows and these wives actually get these claims settled.
Okay, $3,800. That's it. Oh, that is putting a Band-Aid on a tourniquet. Okay, so $3,800 can barely pay for a direct cremation of a veteran. So that's like a slap in the face to our widow warriors, $3,800. That's why we got to continue the fight and drive on. And please go to the Facebook page, U.S. Wives and Widow Warriors of Agent Orange. And also go to my Facebook page, Remember the Fallen, all one word, like the page, and we'll continue to advocate for these widow warriors. So, Sherrie, bringing up the topic of widow warrior, I'm sure there's a lot of sensitive conversations you have in hospice. Is there a few of these stories that you'd like to share with us in the audience at this time?
I would love to. My prized interaction with these men and women that have served has been invaluable. And I have asked them questions like, did you volunteer or were you drafted? And my favorite one came from a gentleman, his first name is Vernon, and he said to me, oh, no, I volunteered. And he's an African-American man from Lynchburg, Virginia. And he said to me, I didn't want to be a farmer, so I volunteered. I knew there would be something better for me. And I said to him, you volunteered to fight for a country that didn't give you the right to vote? And he got a big grin on his face. And Vernon said to me, I knew where we were going and it was going to be worth it. And this was a man who came back, built a business, and actually retired with a master's degree as an educator in the South. And I have other that I've just had the opportunity. I had a glider pilot. I mean, we're talking balsa wood and canvas in World War II in the European theater, being dragged up behind a plane. The guy hollers over, you good, man? And you got a joystick, a compass, you're shooting an azimuth, and you're taking pictures over the side of a piece of stick of wood and canvas. And I said, were you ever worried? He said, no, there was 5 other of us up there. And when he was getting ready to leave this earth, he said, they're here for me. So when I tell you I get to ask some really hard questions, these men always have dignity. But I can also tell you this. For every stupid rule we have in the military, it's because of them. Because they had way too much fun, and they had way too much experience on their hands at being young men. And I have one other one. Saving Private Ryan has a specialty of inciting our World War II, and they said that our World War II veterans are actually drop right back into that 17-year-old age when they were actually in that European theater. The subject matter expert, Danny, was one of my patients, and I can say that very confidently because I walked in his house and there was Steven Spielberg's picture all over the wall and all these amazing things. And I said to Danny, why would you be a survivor of Hawaii, of the bombing of Pearl Harbor, and be a subject matter expert for a European theater movie? He said, I was that good and I was that handsome. So if that's the answer that Danny gave me. But the man was incredible. And when he was 99 years old before he passed, and he used to call me, he said, Doc, man, I need to make some red blood cells. Can you pick me up a hamburger? My wife of 77 years won't let me have red meat. Now, he's 99. And I said to him, yeah, dude, you want one cheeseburger or two? Two, and with 2 slices of cheese. He just didn't know the word give up. He just had no idea.
What a great story. And I hope you archive that, and somehow maybe you can create some type of blog, Sherrie, because these stories got to be told, especially if they're on basically their deathbed, and they're so you're so compassionate with them, and they share their inner secrets with you because of what you do, and you're just doing such a great job with that. And what brings us next is about Robbie Miller, Medal of Honor recipient, right here in our hometown, Seminole County. The family lives here, Philip and Maureen, real close by in Oviedo. And if you ever get a chance to read his citation, I read it a few times in public and in the ceremonies across. He's the one that basically got me involved with Wreaths Across America at All Faith Memorial Park. That's where his body lays. He's in the Honor Garden as you come into the back of the cemetery. You can't miss. On the back, there's a back commercial road, dirt road in the back. He's right smack in the middle of that road, about 30 feet from there. You see Robert James Miller, Medal of Honor recipient. And so, Sherrie, you're involved with the Go Ruck Foundation, who honors Robbie every year. Could you tell us more about that?
The Go Ruck is actually it's a fundraiser. It helps other veterans get involved physically, but it also builds leadership and teamwork. So rucking is something that's not new to the military, but it's very new to civilians. So it's a really cool way to get civilian teams incorporated into a military way of life through physical fitness. And the Robbie Miller is an overnight. It's a 24-hour test of will and strength, and basically you're fighting your own brain because you're exhausted. And you're carrying around your weight, and you have to provide for your food, and we will literally march you and give you different activities and team-building exercises for 24 hours. The Robbie Miller Go Ruck event for this year is going to be on January 12th of 2019. It starts at 0800 hours. That's 8 a.m. for you civvies. And if anybody is interested, you can go to the Go Ruck site, goruck.com, and you can register for it. It's a proud honor. We always go to the cemetery. We have some beer there with him. And we allow some of his members that live locally that were actually with Robbie the night he died, and they tell his story, because we should never, ever, ever forget telling their story.
Well, that reminds me, we'll be gearing up for the Robbie Memorial here at, we haven't pinned down the location, but basically we just got to get the blessing from Philip and Maureen now, and we got Team Red, White, and Blue going to be sponsoring Robbie's Memorial, as well as Rock and Brew, and we're going to be finding some other sponsors for this unbelievable true soldier that just saved over 11 lives and just held his ground and bled out while he was calling in ordinances, fighting back, and just protecting his own men in Afghanistan as well, of the militia. He was protecting Afghanistan soldiers against the Taliban. So go ahead, Google Robert James Miller. He's also, his memorial's in Southwest at the airport. If you come through Southwest on the left-hand side as you put in your baggage, look to your left. There's his folded American flag shadow box on the wall. Take a moment and read his and take a picture of it. He's one of our local Medal of Honor recipients that we should all honor and take a moment to read and take a moment of silence. All right, Sherrie, that just about ends up our time. Actually, we went over, but it's okay with you, Sherrie. I would gladly go over my time with you and spend this precious time of just getting the Team Red, White, and Blue spirit out there. So I'd like you to really top off the ending of the show. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for having me, Dave. I absolutely have enjoyed this time. We've talked a lot of different ideas and stuff, but I want everybody to understand one thing. Our process of freedom takes time. We are a 265-year-old country, and we are an infant compared to the rest of the world, and we are constantly falling on those swords. We're constantly bleeding. We're constantly putting a Band-Aid, and we're constantly moving forward. We might sidewind a little bit, but above all, this country values all of our rights, and we are moving in the right direction, and I don't want anybody to lose faith in the system that we have, but I do wish that everybody would hold the powers that be accountable for their actions and make sure that we take care of each other. Relationships save lives. Reach out, shake that hand, and you can't hate people if you move in close. So by all means, God bless, take care, talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Sherrie. It was a pleasure. Okay, it's getting 0:30 for the show, and I'm just about ready to go into rack ops mode. But before I relax, never. One last promo. So go to Sergeant Dave at KLRNRadio.com for suggestions for the show's content. Or if you know a good piece of gear, a veterans advocate, I will get him on the show. So once again, email me at sergeantdave@klrnradio.com and go to my Facebook page and like the page at Remember the Fallen, all one word. Once again, Remember the Fallen, all one word on Facebook. And you all also can hit me on my Twitter handle at Sergeant Dave at Heroic Memorials. And if you're not into the Tweeter bird chirping thing, you can go to my website at www.neverforgottenmemorials.org, and you can mark your calendar every Thursday night on your phone at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at KLRNradio.com. Select shows, tap whatever show is running, and that should be my show every Thursday night. That's in order until all the troops come home. All right, Fallout, Pop Smoke, out.